Hey, welcome back to Room 237. This is John coming at you with another Tim Burton review. And this time it's of one that no one ever talks about. If I'm not mistaken, this is like his only true story film, and that is Ed Wood. Fucking light. And I really like this movie. This was, I believe, the second collaboration with Tim Burton and Johnny Depp. Pretty much what it is Ed Wood was a guy back in the 50s who made shitty ass movies. When it came to making bad movies, Ed Wood was the best. That's the tagline. He's known for movies like Plan 9 from Outer Space. That's probably his biggest movie. God, what was the name of the movies that was on this? That they made? Glenn or Glenda. He made a handful of terrible movies. A lot of them ended up being on Mystery Science Theater 3000. They even said that those episodes were some of the worst movies they've ever seen. That's one of my favorite shows. I love that show. It's funny as hell. So this movie just kind of chronicles how he went from doing little stage productions to making films. Johnny Depp plays Ed Wood, and he does a very good job. Everybody's kind of a exaggerated version. Like Ed Wood, he's always very happy. He's always just like, and now we're going to meet the picture. Like his Willy Wonka actually came out quite a bit of this. Martin Landau plays Bela Lugosi, which is right there, and he won the Oscar for Best Supporting Actor. It's a better picture right there. I'm a big Bela Lugosi fan. I'm a huge fan of 1930s and 40s Universal horror films, like the monster films. And Bela Lugosi as Dracula is one of my favorite performances ever. And Martin Landau, all down. One, he's unrecognizable. The makeup team did a fantastic job. His accent, just the despair he went through towards the end of his life, being addicted to morphine and all that shit. Bill Murray plays a cross-dresser. His name was Buddy something. He was a guy that kept talking about getting a sex change. It's funny because there's parts like where Bill he's telling other cross-dressers how to wear heels, but he's using the same Bill Murray sarcasm. It's Bill Murray kind of dressed like a woman. It's really funny and interesting to see. Sarah Jessica Parker, I actually didn't mind her performance in this as his first girlfriend. Because Ed Wood's also a weird guy. He also gets relaxed by wearing women's clothes. So if you ever want to see Johnny Depp wear women's clothing, like a sweater and a wig, which I guess was something Ed Wood did do. I guess this movie really revamped Johnny Depp's faith in acting. That was a little thing that I read about the film. Other than that, there's a bunch of features, because I just got this recently for really cheap. Like, there's a featurette on behind the scenes featurette called Let's Shoot This Fucker, hosted by Johnny Depp, which is a line by Bela Lugosi's. Martin Landau as Bela Lugosi. Making Bella featurette about, the character. Rick Baker did the makeup. That's probably why he won the Oscar, because Rick Baker is one of, if not the best makeup artists. His gore effects are good too, but makeup, turning people into other things, he's one of the best. Not too much to say. I mean, it is very underrated. no one ever talks about it. It really is just about a guy who made shitty movies. And you really get the idea of how shitty his movies are because the plots don't make sense. You know, he only does one take. Other people be like, don't you want to do another take just in case? He's like, no, it's authentic, it's real. He has really poor props and special effects. Like, they would use, what was it? I can't remember what the hell it was they used now. I just watched this like last week. Almost like if you took like paper plates and put them together to make flying saucers, almost looked like that. You could see like the strings going over like a model. That's how they did like alien movies. They would use like stock footage from like documentaries that did not fit. Like there was a movie where Bela Lugosi had to play a guy being attacked by an octopus. They would have archive footage of a live octopus, but then it would be like this giant rubber thing that he's just rolling around in the swamp with. But, you know, he was always proud of his movies. He always thought he was making gold, but they never made any money. He was always in trouble with everyone. It is just really interesting to see. I'm sure Tim Burton put himself into this as well, being a passionate filmmaker. It's kind of weird. This is kind of one of those movies like Mars Attacks, where if it did not say Tim Burton, you never would guess. I mean, other than the recurring cast like Jeffrey Jones and Johnny Depp, like the music is by Howard Shore, but Howard Shore does a great job at recreating like the 40s and 50s kind of horror sci-fi kind of score. But it really doesn't feel like a Tim Burton movie. But it is black and white. It kind of bums me out when people get turned off by black and white. Like they won't watch it because it's black and white. It's like, it's still a good movie. It's kind of like his Raging Bull. It took place back then, so he did it in black and white. As good as Johnny Depp's performance is, I would have to give most of my praise to Martin Landeau for his portrayal of Bela Lugosi. Of all the actors that have played real people, he's probably the closest in looks, in sound, like voice. He played him in like a tremendously sympathetic way. They actually showed his funeral. Well, they reenacted his funeral, where he was buried in his Dracula costume. Because that's another thing. By this time, when this takes place, Bela Lugosi, everyone thought he was dead. And Ed Wood had to keep saying, no, he's alive. He's a big star. He's going to be a big star again. But no one had faith in Ed Wood or Bela Lugosi, and he kind of died shamefully. I think there was just like the crew of the shitty last movie he was in, Plan 9 from Outer Space, was all that was at his funeral. It's really sad that again, this is all exaggerated, so I don't really know how much of it is really true. But I still think this is a very underrated Tim Burton movie. And I definitely would recommend it. Especially if you like movies based on real people, or if you're a Johnny Depp fan. Definitely check it out. So yeah, there's another Tim Burton review. And I never, other than YouTube, I've never heard other people talk about this. And it's pretty unfortunate. Anyway, Ed Wood, I really liked it. So, for Room 237, John's out. Thank you.